Every runner knows that core training is important, but most people either don't do it or they don't do it right. Now, we know that core training can help with pelvic stability, your stride mechanics, and just avoiding energy leaks. So all the energy that you're putting into your running is actually going into making you run. Now, the research has been divided on this as well. There's a study in 2019 which found a 4% improvement in running economy, but then a study in 2004 which found no improvement at all. Now, what this indicates is that the right core training is really good, but the wrong core training doesn't really make any difference. So today I'm going to tell you what the right core training looks like and what exercises you should be doing to help your core and overall your running. Okay, the first exercise I'm going to talk to you about today is a pull-off press. Now, this is an anti-rotation exercise. So essentially, you're trying to resist either a band or cables that is trying to rotate your body. Now, why is this good for running? Well, when you're running, you need to maintain a good torso position because your legs and arms are doing their own thing. If you get really fatigued, like I definitely did at the end of a race once, you can swing about all over the place and it just means that you're leaking energy, which you don't need to be. This is a really good way of training for that stimulus. It's also quite low fatigue, which means it can fit into most programs and it's pretty easy because you need a band or cables. So all you're looking to do is take a couple of steps out. You can go split stance, square stance, doesn't matter, but you're looking to drive straight forward, and as you're driving forward, it's going to feel harder because the cable or band is trying to pull you to the side. You've got to resist it. You're probably looking at doing 6 to 8 reps, 3 sets, obviously each side as well. And it's a really good anti-rotation exercise that you can be including. The next exercise I'm taking you through is an ab rollout. Now, a lot of people have heard and seen ab rollouts, and a lot of people do them, but not many of the people that do them should be doing them. And here's why. This is an anti-extension exercise. So your pull-off press was anti-rotation, this is anti-extension. And that's extension of the lumbar spine, lower back. So as you get to the bottom, what you don't want to see is your lower back curving like a banana, because then you're losing the whole point of the movement. Now, the way you set this up will probably be the key factor in your success in this movement, or maybe you haven't got the core strength yet and you should do something else and come back to it. What you need to do, you might have heard of the scared cat position. You might have seen a cat-cow where you curl yourself up as much as you can. You don't want to go that crazy on the scared cat, but you want to almost think about that a little bit. Because you want to base your abs as hard as you can. You want to make sure everything's nice and stacked. What you don't want to do is start really loose because you're always going to be in extension already. You want to resist that extension as much as possible, okay? I like feet off the floor. You're then just going to roll forwards, lay yourself as much as you can without your spine expanding too much, and then come back up. Now, the problem will be if you look really bananaed at the bottom and your belly button is just touching the floor, that's not what you're meant to be doing. Go as low as you can go without that extension happening, come back up, okay? When you're coming back up, don't just sit back, because if you sit back, your hips are going to do all the work. That's not what we're looking to do here. Equally, don't engage your lats too much. They're going to be engaged a little bit because that is the movement. But what you want to almost do is imagine you're crunching it back up with those straight arms and going back to that position, keeping those hips a little bit higher than just them coming back. If they come back, they're doing all the work. Now, obviously when you're running, you're putting energy through the floor, when you're planting your feet, you're trying to be nice and stiff, and that's definitely not a euphemism, to avoid the energy leaks that we spoke about at the start of the video. So this is the thing that ab rollouts are really good for. Next exercise is Copenhagen side planks. So these aren't just good for core, they're really good for your adductors as well. You might see a lot of sports team people do these because they're great for people who change movements laterally a lot. But from runners, they're really good. Because obviously nothing wrong with lateral stability at all. Not that you need it quite as much, but strength of the groin and the inner thigh as well is a place where a lot of runners are weak. So you're almost killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. Now, you're only going to want to hold these for 20 to 30 seconds to start with if you're new, because it's a really hard exercise. A lot of people make the mistake of they're putting too much pressure with the elbow, and where you should be thinking about putting pressure is the ankle that's on the bench or the box, okay? Now, you can start with a really, really low box or bench, and then you can make it a bit higher. But either way, you don't want your leg to be too far above, because obviously then that's going to be not really the point of what we're doing. But either way, don't hold these too long, but it's a really good thing to do. You can start lowering yourself and then coming up, so you're putting pressure on and off as well. But if you can't do these, then don't worry, it's another advanced exercise, but there's something that's definitely worth including when it comes to pelvic control and your stability in that frontal plane, which is quite important for running. So I mentioned trunk position earlier when it comes to the ab rollouts, and another good thing for that is a hollow hold. Now, a hollow hold just means you're staying still here, but you have to keep a really tight trunk to be able to do the movement. Now, you can progress this to a hollow rock, where you'll rock and you'll try and get your feet to the floor without touching, and then come back. But to start with, you should go with the hold. Now, what you need to make sure you do when you lie down is you really want to drive your lower back into the floor. If you've extended, if you can fit your hand through, then it's really not doing as much as it should be. And you'll see from me, you might even see that I'm almost shaking. Now, I can hold it a while, but the moment I'm in position, it's quite hard. And that's how you know you've done it. Another mistake people have is that their legs are way too high or their hands are way too low. You want that nice hollow position, which is really strong because it's going to be really good for your trunk stiffness when it comes to absorbing energy when you're running and then delivering it. Next exercise has somewhat similar with regards to you need to make sure you can't get your hand through your lower back when you're doing it, and that's a dead bug. And a dead bug's another one that a lot of people have seen, but they might do it wrong because their lower back will lift off the floor and then they'll just let it take over. So that's why it's really good to resist against that, so you can actually train your core. Now, it does require a bit of coordination, which initially might be challenging for some people, but if you get this right, it's a really good core exercise that you don't need to do too many reps. You can probably look for, I don't know, no more than 10 reps, I'd say. Obviously a few sets as well, but it's one of those things that you can get right, it's so beneficial for your core, because obviously you get a bit of coordination in there as well. And it's just really good for holding that nice trunk position similar to your hollow hold. You've just got some movement involved now. And if you think what running is, you need a bit of coordination to run effectively. So this is just a win-win for everyone. So again, make sure you really flatten that lower back into the floor. And then you don't want your feet to actually touch the floor and bounce off. You want to be able to get them as low as you can without them touching the floor to make it as hard as possible. And you just want control throughout the movement. It's not one that you're going to hammer and go really fast. You want to exercise as much control as possible. Okay, last exercise we're going to go through today is a suitcase carry. Now, a suitcase carry, which is also known as maybe an offset farmer's carry. It's a farmer's carry, you're just using one side loaded. So left hand, right hand, whatever that is, that's going to have weight, other side is not going to. What is really good is teaching you the stability in a very natural way, and you're moving as well, which is really good. Now, obviously, what the weight's trying to do is pull you over, pull you to your side, pull you out of position. What you've got to do is try and avoid that and hold that good position. And it's almost one of those things that it's quite easy to learn because your body will do it or it won't. So you have to obviously actively brace. Whenever I say brace, I mean, like, imagine you're about to be punched in the stomach. You need to actively do that. But as long as you do, your body will deal with the rest unless the weight's too heavy. And if the weight's too light, you're not going to feel anything. If it's too heavy, you're going to feel like you're walking like you've pooed yourself. Quite bad. It should be in the middle of those two feelings. Really good one, 20, 30 meters each arm, obviously then switch, and then a few sets is completely fine on this one. But it's underused, it's so simple, you don't have to overthink the brace, you don't have to try and know from a mind-muscle connection point of view as much as maybe you would on, say, an ab rollout or a dead bug. So for everyone can do this, so definitely worth including if you're new to running. So that brings us to the end of the exercises. Remember, if you're running, you need a core that can hold position, resist rotation, and transfer force. If you do these exercises periodically across the training block, then you'll have all of those things covered. Obviously, there's more out there, but I'm showing you the ones that I like to use with the people that I train that run. Now, you don't need to do all of these every single week. If you do 2 or 3 of them every single week and you can rotate in and out which ones you're doing, you're going to be well balanced over the course of, next 8-12 weeks. And hopefully you should start seeing some improvements because, quite frankly, a lot of these exercises you don't really need any equipment for either, so there is really no excuse because you can literally do them at home in most cases. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did like this and you actually want to know more about the running side of things in particular in terms of how to get faster, watch this video right here. If not, no worries at all. Have a lovely day and I'll see you in the next video.